Happy New Year, everybody. It's 2023 and I'm kind of bored. So I figured I would make a video ode to my laptop. Why not? This laptop has gotten me through a lot over the years. I bought it for 200 bucks off eBay several years ago, maybe 8, and it's still going strong. It struggled to run Windows as soon as I purchased it, so I did what I always do and upgrade it. Linux to the rescue. This old dinosaur still had plenty of life left in it, so I couldn't just let Windows be the deciding factor in me tossing it out or recycling it. One thing I love about old dinosaur computers is that they've got plenty of ports. Generally more than you need, and that's the way I like it. And I don't even know what this is. If anybody can tell me, that would be great. I think it's just like a placeholder for something else you can put in there. I haven't figured it out and I can't find it on Google. Over the years, I did need to replace the keyboard once. Cost about 50 bucks off eBay and not too hard to install. I also replaced the battery with a big booty battery that'll give me about 3 hours of activity, which is plenty. And also has about the worst webcam I've ever used, but I don't really use a webcam, so I don't care. All right, that's enough about the exterior of this bad boy. Let's check out the OS. So to revive the life of this computer that wouldn't run Windows, I installed this operating system, which is a Linux derivative called a Zorin. And I've installed probably, oh man, 15 to 20 different operating systems on this computer, all Linux of course. But this one is just super easy to use right out of the box. Great for somebody transitioning from Windows or Mac. You can change the layouts and themes to look like a Mac, to look more like Windows, to really look almost however you want. Like I said, this computer has plenty of horsepower, 8 gigabytes RAM, 500 gigabyte disk capacity. There's no reason, Intel i5 processor, no reason to trash it just because it couldn't run Windows. And let's check out some of the programs I like to use. For one, a great thing about Linux is the amount of software that's available. You can go in here and browse through. You got games. Of course, they're not going to be like games on a gaming PC, but they're still fun. If you want to search for anything, say an Office suite, you can search. I like only Office. There's LibreOffice, there's OpenOffice, there's all sorts of Office suites. You see I've downloaded only Office. There is even becoming a little bit more cross-compatibility, I guess you could say, with Microsoft. You can see some Microsoft Office stuff here. Slack, if you use Slack. I mean, there's a lot of proprietary software that you can get on Linux as well. This is just the free open source stuff. A couple things I use the most, like I said, only Office. It has a layout much like Microsoft Office, or Microsoft Word, I guess I should say. It's got the ribbon style here. Super compatible. I haven't run into any compatibility issues sending files to my work computer that runs Windows or anything like that. You've got, of course, your spreadsheets as well. Same kind of thing. Tons of possibilities, more than you'd probably need unless you're some kind of data scientist, in which case you don't need this little overview. And of course, it's got the other stuff like your presentation, like PowerPoint and some other things. Great program. I mostly use my computer for graphic design, so Inkscape is probably my favorite program. I've used it to design logos. I've used it to design flyers. It's a vector program, but you can incorporate bitmap images as well. It's got tons of capabilities, very much like Adobe Illustrator. I, on a semi-professional level, or should I say fully professional level, haven't had any issues with Inkscape. Now, GIMP, that's more of your raster image software or like photo editing software. that's a pretty far cry from Photoshop. It's great for some basics. There's a lot you can do with it, but it ain't really close to Photoshop if you're needing something in a professional level. Let's see here, do a little brightness contrast just to show you, some of the basic photo editing capabilities. You can adjust color, saturation. It does have layer capabilities, as you can see here. Some things you won't be able to do is drop shadows, but to get behind that, you just create an active layer, select something like that, filter, go to blur, and you can sort of create your own drop shadows. And I'll probably do maybe a little tutorial on that. There's tons of tutorials online anyway. But let's see, what else do I use? Mostly graphics software, and it's been great with that. I'm also using this program to edit this video with Kdenlive, which is a pretty good video editing application. So there's a lot that Linux can do. It's more polished than I think people give it credit for, basically because it used to be a bit more clunky, but these days it's a pretty solid program. Even has the Bluetooth capabilities. I think I've got my headphones hooked up right now. I mean, it's a pretty solid program, or operating system. I do like the default background here because it changes the sky with the time outside, so it's becoming evening, so the sky's getting darker. In the daytime it's light blue, but that's just a silly little thing I like. I can't think of many other things to go over. It's just a quick rundown, but honestly, if you've got an old computer and you need to revive it, try some Linux programs. I mean, not everything will work perfectly just because of hardware compatibility, so it's good to kind of look up your computer online and see which Linux distributions work best for it. But for this computer, I've downloaded several programs, different operating systems, and they've all worked just fine.